Bien, señores, ahora vamos a presentarles una excelente noticia. Está con nosotros para un evento muy importante en el mundo de la publicidad, de centrales de medios y en general en el negocio de las comunicaciones. Está con nosotros el CEO de Aegis Network Group, uno de los más grandes grupos de comunicación que incluyen agencias de marketing digital, agencias de publicidad, centrales de medios, entre otras líneas de negocio, para un evento especial en Lima. Jerry Buhlmann es el CEO, vamos a tener con él una pequeña nota, conociendo un poco sobre su grupo, conociendo también sobre la operación que tienen e inician comprometidamente en el Perú. Cada vez el Perú, como ya hemos visto en este programa, atrae a muchos inversionistas y en este caso Jerry nos acompaña como el promotor de este grupo. La entrevista será en inglés y trataremos de hacernos entender lo mejor posible. Jerry, how are you? Thank you for staying here tonight.
Yeah, you're very, very welcome. It's a great pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be in this company.
It's an honor having you here. Jerry, please introduce me, Aegis Network Group. What do you do? Who are you? In which countries do you operate?
Okay, the group's called Dentsu Aegis Network, and it's formed by the acquisition of Aegis Group by Dentsu in March of last year, which was the biggest acquisition in the history of advertising. So
the biggest
acquisition in the history of advertising. So quite an important event in the industry of advertising. And our business is an agency business. We have agencies in creative advertising, digital advertising, media, PR, sports. So we're a communication agency group. We operate in 110 countries, including some affiliates as well. We have 24,000 employees, and we have 8 global networks that we operate, working with very many famous clients. And we're part of the Dentsu Group, big Japanese corporate company.
These are amazing figures. Do you work directly in every market? Do you have partnerships or different agreements between or among your network?
Yeah, we totally own about 60 markets. The businesses in 60 markets. And we have affiliates in about 60 markets too. But the businesses we own all the businesses in the top 20 markets of the world. So we own about 98% of the business we work with across the 110 markets. But we have some valuable affiliates, including a strong affiliate here in Peru with Latin brands.
Who is your partner? Latin brands?
Latin brands, yeah.
Okay.
With Adolfo Dame, who's a very good partner of ours since 2005.
Yeah, Adolfo Dame, he's a very well-known exponent of the advertising in our country.
Great partner for us. So.
And in this specific case, do you give support? How's the link between the two companies?
The way the link works is Adolfo will have the local expertise and the infrastructure and the capability and the people and the talent, and we provide some of the systems, the branding, some clients that we can bring in from around the world, and also some tools and supporting facilities. So it's a very good arrangement to help develop our business here in Peru with a good, strong local partner, which means we can provide reliable service for our clients, but with the consistency of a global brand which global advertisers are looking for.
Do you think that think globally and act locally applies very well in this world of advertising?
I think it's a very good starting rule. I think there is more complexity now. The rise of digital and the growth of the digital infrastructure media owners like Google and Facebook and Twitter mean there is more global consistency in the way we have to operate. And if you think about the global market, it is becoming more global, more consistent. There's more deregulation of trade barriers. IT systems and technology and communication is much easier. Therefore, there's a much greater focus on common best practice ways of working around the world, which have proven to be successful. So, you know, thinking local and acting global is important too, but there's a whole consistency part to it which is very important in a reactive market which is led by digital, which is now live. You know, a lot of our advertising is very responsive to a live environment.
What have you seen in our market that attract you to invest?
It's a good question.
In the different forms of investment, of course.
I think if you start with, you have a very stable market. I think Peru has had consistent growth since 2003. So from an economical and political perspective, it has consistency, it has continued growth and stability. And that means it's an investable market. And when you have stability and economic growth, the global brands are keen to develop and participate in that growth, and clearly that gives us a great opportunity. And there's significant potential for the advertising business and all commerce to grow in Peru. Therefore, it makes a lot of sense for us to focus on what is probably one of the most stable markets in the whole Latin American region at the moment, to invest here, build our business here, and take advantage of the potential growth we have.
Hopefully we will have the same stability. Of course, all the entrepreneurs and business people are expecting to have this in the near future, the following years. But there are some risks always in this part of the world. You may know it. How about the different markets? How about the neighbors? How do you see the big picture in Latin America?
Well, the big picture in Latin America, of course, is going to be strongly dictated by the health of Brazil and Mexico. If you take those two markets alone, you know, by 2050, they'll be two of the 5 biggest markets in the world. So a huge potential and growth in Mexico and Brazil dictates to a large extent the health of the whole region. Clearly, the region is exposed to some extent to commodity prices, which are not so strong at the moment, but they'll come back. But I think, you know, a stable political environment, a significant reduction in debt default, which, if you go back 20 years, was a recurrent theme. That's largely disappeared now. And you have some markets that are more stable and more developed than
You're
others.
not talking about Argentina, right?
Well, that's a recent case, but I think if you set Argentina aside, there's been very few defaults elsewhere in the last 10 years. So I think there's a general trend in the region. It's
absolutely. It is a trend, but it is a trend. Jerry, Internet has changed different global opportunities. How was the impact of Internet on your industry?
It's the most significant change in our business in 50 years. The Internet is creating a live environment. It's creating an environment where the point of engagement and the point of transaction are coming closer and closer together. Consumers have totally embraced the Internet. They access the Internet for all their social work, so all their social access, to access information, to transact, and that is having a huge impact on the whole of the advertising business. Consumers embrace it, and if consumers embrace it, brands need to be there too. And we in particular put a big focus on our digital capabilities to give us strength in digital ahead of many of our competitors. On a global basis, 41% of our revenue now comes from the digital environment. So our expertise in creative origination in digital, in search optimization, and in media, and in data generates 41% of our revenue now.
Actually, England has shown outstanding figures regarding Internet penetration, right? Yeah. I think it is now bigger numbers compared to television advertising or radio or traditional advertising. It is happening right now the same in other markets?
The two criteria that are present to drive digital are the presence of broadband and ability to participate in e-commerce. So if you have an effective and trusted e-commerce environment with strong broadband, then you generate a huge growth in digital.
So the trigger is e-commerce, based on your reading.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you look at those two factors consistently around the world, that's the precursor for growth in digital, excessive growth in digital. And
so it makes sense for the industry to take care of the e-commerce ecosystem in order to foster, to completely develop the second stage, which is advertising.
And you know, consumers operate in that ecosystem. They multitask, they're dealing in lots of different media all at the same time. So brands need to be there to create engagement. And the way brands use digital, the way they use the online presence, is a utility around their brand now, represent what their brand is. If you go online and you can't access or interface with a brand effectively online, that damages the brand image. So the way brands use digital media now is a critical part of what their brand is, and how they transact online is also a critical element. So providing better quality advice, better quality content easier of ability to transact online are all critical to development of a successful commercial operation. So our ability to advise advertisers in that space, which is growing very rapidly, digital media is growing 3 times the pace of traditional media, is not only a high growth area, but it's where our clients need to be, it's where our clients want to be to drive their business forward. So we see that as a very important focus for us. In Latin America in particular, we're very strong. In Brazil, we have Isobar, which is a very strong brand in Brazil, which has generated a great deal of success, fantastic creative reputation. Won the Innovation Award at Cannes Lion 2014. They won gold for Fiat Live Store. So we have a great reputation in our digital work in Latin America. And that's really leading the drive for our development in the region across all 18 markets we're present in here.
All these know-how and resources around your experience in other countries are available through Latin brands in the Peruvian operation?
In Peru at the moment, we have, through our affiliate relationship with Latin brands, we have Cara, which is our media planning and buying operation. Okay. And through Cara, we have some of our global clients like Sony, like Adidas and General Motors. So we have a good first business. Cara operates in over 100 markets, so it's our most global network, and that's a media planning and buying specialist. So as we develop our business in Peru and as we build our relationships and partnerships here and invest in the market, we'll develop some of our other brands, and we have 8 network brands, so we will be investing more brands into the market in due course.
Great. Do you think brands are understanding the challenge that Internet generates nowadays? I mean, there are a lot of traditional brands, for instance, banks or insurance companies, or some traditional players in these long-lasting industries that maybe face Internet in a traditional way. I mean, they do not accept the new trends, the new target markets, the millennials, for instance, and I see, and this is my reading, I don't know if I'm wrong, I see that there's a kind of gap between the execution of marketing campaigns from traditional players and what is expected to these new native Internet users.
It's a very, very good point, because at one end you have the consumers, and the consumers are adopting digital media very rapidly. If you take Internet users in Latin America, for example, 95% of them operate in social media as well. That's 50% higher percentage than you, say, get in the US, for example. So very, very well developed in this region in social media. And a lot of advertisers who have their ways of working, their proven models of the past, and big organizations suffer from some inertia, and they find it difficult to keep up with the consumers. But clearly the gap between what they're doing today and what consumers are doing is the opportunity, because if you're close to consumers, you'll have more success with your brands. So our role is to bring the advertisers closer to the consumers and closer to the way consumers use media, and change the way they're working to do so. Early adopter advertisers who are targeting young age groups tend to be better at doing that. Brands like Adidas, who target your average 17-year-old, they're quite developed at the way they use digital media. So I think there are early adopters who are doing it much better, and there are more traditional businesses, as you say, who are slower, but the opportunity is to move to where the consumers are, and they have to push through and have more confidence in the way they operate in the digital sphere. The one huge advantage about the digital environment is the amount of data that it throws off. So the data enables you to understand the effectiveness much, much easier than other traditional forms of advertising. The old saying of half our advertising works, but we don't know which half. Nowadays, we do. And that opportunity is there for those advertisers that are able to embrace that. And we see our role, in particular, in pushing ourselves very much forward as a digitally centric group, is to help them move that gap from traditional to young consumers.
Important challenge for companies.
Indeed.
Right? Yeah. Tell me about your upcoming summit. You have a special event the next days.
Yeah.
Tell me something about that.
We have our Latin American Summit, and that is the top 100 managers from the region, from all 18 markets, get together, work closely together over the next 3 days to understand how each other work better, to adopt better ways of working, to drive our vision. We have a vision of innovating the way brands are built, which means adding value to clients by doing things differently and better. So it's about driving through those leadership elements with our key leadership group in the region to make sure we have a high quality, performance-driven, differentiated business in our local markets, and also develop our vision for how we build out our networks and provide better services for our clients.
So Lima will be the host city.
It's the host city this year, and it's a very appropriate host city. It's a business we want to invest in more. It's a nice city that has a great stability politically, economically, so it seems a good time to come to Lima, and it's a priority market for our investment going forward as well.
Great news, Jerry. Thank you very much for staying here tonight. I wish you all the luck possible in your partnership, in your operation in Peru. Congratulations for your partner here, Adolfo Dammert is an outstanding guy from the industry, so I'm pretty sure that you will have success as you are looking for. And thank you once again for staying with us.
Thank you very much. You're very welcome. I really enjoyed it. Good meeting you. Thank you.
Great meeting you. Jerry Buhlmann es el CEO de Dentsu Aegis Network Group. Estuvo con nosotros ilustrándonos sobre el mundo de la publicidad, el mundo de las agencias de comunicación y también dándonos a conocer su compromiso con el Perú a través de su sociedad con Latin Brands y Canal como central de medios. Ellos tienen operaciones aquí en el Perú y ya contamos entonces con el soporte de este gigante mundial de las comunicaciones. Volvemos, señores, tras la pausa. No se muevan.